Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host Luke Timmons with me here today. We are on episode 22, and today we're going to be talking about early season strategies for hunting whitetails, and we'll be talking about a couple different states and just kind of catching up on how the summer's going and trail camera pictures and a lot of other fun stuff. So, Luke, how you doing?
Good. We're doing good. It's like I feel like we were just doing this for turkey hunting. So
That's right.
now that
we're getting in the mix of things.
Yeah, I know. It's like we were just talking early season turkey, and now it's early season whitetails. So means fall is coming, which is bittersweet. I'm definitely a fall guy, though. How about you?
You know, that's such a hard question because you ask me now, and I'm gonna say fall. But if you ask me in come March, like it's turkey hunting. But I don't know. I'm a sucker for turkey hunting. You know that. I love chasing turkeys. I don't know if I have it like we talked about those guys we ran into from Mississippi. I don't know if I love turkey hunting that much to do 7 states in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but man, deer hunting, it is like now that we've started doing food plots, and I'm sure we're going to talk about that today too. But like, it is, I don't know. It's like you get to play a little bit of the farmer game, and like I've come to realize for me, July, like today, it's July 21st. We're recording this one at like, what is it? It's like 9:45 right now. We meant to record this like 3 days ago, and we're here on it now. But it's like July is such an awesome month because it's you're getting tree stands fixed up, you're getting food plots put in, you're shooting your bow, like deer. You can finally tell like which bucks are what on trail camera, and like it's exciting. Like this is like the time if you like to bow hunt, like it is go time, all pistons firing.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you got all sorts of different shoots going on across the nation, TAC, Mountain Archery Fest, around here it's Bow Fest, Beast Mode Archery Games. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's probably a bunch of other ones I'm missing with just hitting on the ones I know. But no, it's true though, because it's like, you start shooting your bow. I mean, hopefully you didn't just start shooting your bow, but if you did, good. If not,
I'm kind of in that spot right now.
Wow, let's go down that freaking rabbit hole.
So little backstory to that. So Luke and I set aside this weekend. It worked out for both our families. I was going to be in town, and we were going to get all the food plots done out at the farm. Talking about my home farm, and we were going to get all the food plots done, get a bunch of stands done. We had one day. I had probably a day and a half to prep prior. Working. I think 2 nights in a row. I think I was up from about 10 o'clock till about 4 in the morning, mowing, getting fields tilled, getting just seed beds prepped and stuff. And it came to Friday, and Luke and I what time we start working? About 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Started working at about 8, and then we got till about noon. We had a couple little hiccups with the tractor and stuff like that, so we decided to go to Rochester and go to just go get some arrows cut. I got a good deal on some arrows. Got 18 arrows that'll last me for a hot minute. And Luke, I'll let you tell a story because you were just the volunteer that got the.
I was the fly on the wall for that bad boy. Yeah, so I mean, we were like, we need to run to town. We need a couple pins and some coolant and etc. for the tractor. And Evan's like, we'll just swing by Coyote Creek. Shout out to Coyote Creek here in Rochester.
Wow.
They do a great job. But anyways, we go in. He's like, we'll just get these arrows cut quick and be on our way. Which no problem.
We had all day.
We had all day. Yeah, we proceeded to be there for just shy or just over 2 hours. And I mean, like I said, shout out to Coyote Creek because you can attest to it. You went in there just for arrows and you left there with brand new tuned up, not brand new, but your bow tuned up the way it should have been.
Yeah.
And you've taken it to 2 or 3 different places, and everyone's like, it's good. And they're like, this and this needs fixed. And they totally stripped it down, put it back together and cut and fletched it, or not fletched, cut. And what else do they do to your arrows?
I will. So yeah, shout out to Kida Creek. I unfortunately I don't remember the gentleman's name that was working my bow, but he was awesome. He went through and keep in mind I had 18 arrows,
Yeah, so
which is excessive, but I got a good deal on arrows and I bought a lot because it was a good deal.
yep.
And they're the ones I wanted to shoot, so it was perfect. No, this man went through, sanded each tip of the arrow for about a minute to get them so they'd fit the collars that I had, and then he
That's
proceeded
what it was.
to glue them. So we're at about, I don't know, and he's helping Custer's in the mix of all this, but it's like probably 2-3 minutes an arrow it's taken him. So do that times 18, and then on top of all that, he looks at my bow and he's just like, something's not right. Went through that whole gamut of, like sometimes you go into a bow shop, depending on where you're at, you feel like you're going and getting your car to a car shop where they're like, well,
This and this.
this is broke and this is broke and you're going to need to get this, and you can't even shoot your bow even though you've been shooting it all summer. But shout out to these guys because I've taken this used bow that I got. It's a good bow. It's a Hoyt. What is it? I think it's an option 34 or something like that. And not 30. Yeah, no, it is. And took it in a bunch of shops. And like, yeah, it looks good. Well, I found out that my cables were backwards. So I had the short cables where the long cables was supposed to go. The cam was shifted in the wrong spot. My rest was wrong. So he went through and fixed all these things. I mean, for free 99. I mean, I think I walked out of there was like $50. I spent it all this, and I was 100% anticipating it being like $250 for just time and labor and like the love that this man, like, we went from, I could tell you, it was like 2 arrows over of a paper tear left to like leaving with a perfectly tuned bow where I was shooting. I shot one arrow tonight. It's actually quite funny. I shot one arrow at 40 yards tonight. And maybe it's just because it's the right arrow I was supposed to be shooting with my bow this whole time. Shoot missiles. I mean, like,
nuts.
I like, no, it's I got to resight my whole bow.
Oh,
but I shot 4 feet high, but it's way faster. So I don't know. I'll have to weigh that arrow, figure out exactly what I'm at for weight. Maybe just because it's a little bit lighter, but like, compared to the aero flight I used to have, like it's amazing when you can get someone, because like it's an art craft to be able to do something like that. Like I know Stacy used to work at archery headquarters with Marty, and he's a local legend in a bow shop, and he's at Coyote Creek now, and he was busy working with other people and stuff like that. So I know I really appreciate those guys. They did an incredible job. It was just unfortunate it took 3 hours, and shout out to Blake. I remember Blake. Blake was the poor innocent bystander that we talked to for 3 hours, and poor man just won a brand new bow and was waiting to pick up the bow the whole entire time. And until I just remember getting done with the last arrow, and then we proceeded to work on my bow for another 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't, we were joking that the last arrow was it, and then there was another half hour, 45 minutes of tuning.
At least. Yeah.
But hey, like I said, shout out to those guys, because if you want it done right and you don't want to have to redo it 1,000 times before here in hunting season, go check them out. Because and that's 100%. Not then we're not just plugging them to plug them. They are definitely know what they're doing. So
no, and it's been fun. So
yeah, I mean, we got like you said, a good chunk of work done too, Saturday or whatever day that was, Friday morning. And I mean, it's go time. We got the food plots prepped and they're just waiting to go, kind of thing. And then I'm sure here in a week or two we'll kind of, or whenever you're down next, I guess, but go through and make sure all the stands are trimmed up and dot our I's and cross our T's, because the big test is coming here in less than 2 months.
Oh yeah, and pray for rain. We need. I mean, we got
easy now, easy. The amount of rain we've had this year, but no, I know what you mean.
I need some rain, man.
Yeah.
Between all the fertilizer and seed I just put down, it's like it's like the end of the day. You think about it, it's like, all right, so for the seed, I this year once again got a really good deal, so I can't complain. Shout out the Domain Outdoors, but like. I think it was only cost us $250, I think, this year to run for about 3.5 acres. Kind of doing. In the last couple of years now, I've kind of come up with my manipulated versions of their own blends.
Mm.
Just what I want to see in particular, for our kill plots compared to like some of our bigger destination plots. But
Yep.
yeah, some rain would be nice. I know we got like a 16th of an inch, I think, back home today, so that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It rained pretty good today, and I think there's more in the forecast for you. So.
Yeah, no, it should be good. But it's like one of those things we were just talking before we got on, and then it happens almost every time to us when we start a podcast, especially these remote ones for us, where we'll get down the rabbit hole of conversation. We're like, well, we should probably
Save
stop
it for
talk
the.
stop talking so we can save it for the podcast because
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
No, for sure. And you were kind of talking and just kind of going off of that. We'll dive into what we were talking off air, but about kind of taking, you have your, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Your Mount Rushmore of hunters. You have your big hitters in the industry. Insert name here, and and it's interesting because it's like everyone wants to know how so and so kills their big deer or what they did, and it's and that's what's so fun and gets me going about hunting is that what worked for this guy probably is not going to work for the next guy, or it might.
Mhm.
So and it's kind of fun too, and that's where like you were talking, and you can probably dive into it a little deeper here, but where we start listening to somebody and then you listen to another guy, if it's Don Higgins or and just keep going down the hole, and then what's Dan Infalt, those kinds of guys,
Yeah.
how are they killing these deer in huge deer in each year? And it's like you kind of start to not necessarily follow one path directly, but I think you kind of start to kind of take a little bit of here, a little bit of here, and kind of weave it all into your own property. And I think that's what it,
Oh,
gets me going so much about hunting.
for sure. Actually, what happened here? One second. There we go. Yeah, no. Off of that, it's like one of those things. It's just funny where we've come now with technology and how ease of access it is for information, and really how dangerous it can make somebody now. Not dangerous in the terms of like a good thing, dangerous in the terms of like it could be detrimental to like their farm or their success, having
Mm.
such relative of information available, because some of it's not legit. Some is, some isn't. It's like, who do you listen to? Who do you do not listen to? And who fits
Mm-hmm.
in with you? And, I look at it like this. I grew up, obviously you grew up hunting with me too, but like, we learned what we did from our old men, and that got passed down to us. And we kind of took it with new kind of ideas from, we got into bow hunting and we wanted to get better at it, obviously. And, we're still learning. And it's like one of those things where now we have all this information at our fingertips. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, I think for me, it's, what are you talking about? Are you talking about private land? Are you talking about hunting public land? Because like you could go
Right.
down two separate rabbit holes with that of who you're
Oh,
listening to.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like who kind of fits with your style of hunting. Like they're all different. Like I think of like I like started listening to Tony LaPrat a lot lately now, and then like talking about like I just watched the debate with him and Don Higgins. That was awesome. Like that would
Mm.
be like that was like that was the presidential election. It was like five times better than that because it's just two like whitetail legends talking about, and like they were completely just boosting each other's egos throughout the whole entire thing, which was really cool because they weren't, shitting on each other like most guys
Mm.
usually do in the industry. But,
Arguing about a
there's,
golf score, right?
yeah, right. But there's so many great people. You got Dan Infalt, you got Jeff Sturgis. I mean, it goes
Oh
back
yeah.
all the way to the classics, the TV classics and stuff. And it's like, who in the hell do you listen to? And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's relative to like anything in life. I mean, I think who you can relate with and understand the information the easiest, because I still am a firm believer that almost just like from a mentor thing in life, like you're not going to get better at something like for golf, I guess, like you're not going to get better at golf unless you golf with people that are better than you. Same thing with anything, with fishing and hunting. Like I've learned a lot from other friends that have been better at hunting than me. And I've learned
Mm-hmm.
stuff from them and then taken it my own way. And I think really a lot of this though needs to come down to personal failures and, your own victories that you have. But ultimately I look at it for like the private property thing, and like you listen to all these guys talk about it where yeah, it for people that don't know much or don't know anything, and I'm in a boat where I like to think I know a decent amount of stuff, but I'm still new to the game. I've only done food plots for 3 years now. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
were to hire Jeff Sturgis or Tony or Don or any of those people to come out and look at my property, they would probably save me 10 or 15 years of trial and error because they'd get it right the first time. But those guys also have 50 years of woods experience killing big bucks, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So that's where it's hard. It's a game. I think it's just you got to get out there and you got to learn it yourself. And you take what you can take from the videos that are out there.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think a key piece, and this kind of going off topic a little bit, but like you talked about, is kind of it relates to life too, as far as like being able to not just fall like in step or in line with the
Mm-hmm.
masses, not just being a yes man for your party of choice, but it's hearing out both sides and making an intelligent
Yeah.
decision based off of that, based on what you believe in and what you believe in to be right and truthful and honest and what makes actual common sense and all that. But especially with deer hunting, and that's that even is probably, I would say, it's probably a little bit more crucial because it's they talk about football as a game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, then that makes bow hunting whitetails or bow hunting any animal a game of centimeters, because
Yeah.
that's just what it's about. You could put like if you're like you were talking, like if you're hunting public land, if you put your stand in this location, you may blow out your opportunities for that buck that's probably potential, or not probably, but maybe was going to walk where you had initially planned, but you changed your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it's like it's a continuous, and you said it, a game where it's like a cat and mouse game of like, feel like Tom off of Tom and Jerry some days, because it's like no matter what I do, I can't get that that damn buck to do what I want to do, and he's just
Yeah.
laughing at me in his little mouse hole. But no, it's and like I think it goes back a little bit too, as far as just do hard things, in life.
Mm-hmm.
Do things that are going to challenge you, and not only do them, but do them with people like you said that are better than you, because
Oh,
it's
for
going to
sure.
motivate. If that's sports, go one on
Mm-hmm.
one with someone in basketball. You're going to get trounced on, but guess what? You're going to come out on the other side a little bit better, a little bit smarter, right? So it's like,
Oh, for sure.
push, I think, and I've learned this, especially, these last, I don't know, 6 years of really getting into bow hunting. But it's like there's so many of those opportunities, and everyone's guilty of it, where the alarm clock goes off in the morning and it's like, I could sleep in,
Mm-hmm.
those little voice. But it's like you just
Especially,
gotta put.
especially after like a couple hard hunts, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep. No, absolutely. If you've been hunting hard Friday, Saturday, and it's Sunday, and you're striking
Uh-huh.
out and not getting any closer, that warm bed makes it all the better.
Oh
But
yeah.
push it, because that's the time where you're going to capitalize. And there's been times where I'm like, I'm not going to see anything today because I'm coming into it with just a crap attitude. And some of those are the best hunts because, I've killed deer doing it, with that attitude before, and being like,
Well,
well,
like you think of like Dan, like I was like when I was listening, so on the way home, we usually have about a 3.5 hour car ride going home. So I pop on as many podcasts I usually can. But what in that debate, Tony was talking about it a little bit. He was talking about how, it's similar mindset to like, I know Dan Infall, I've watched, I feel like almost every video with Dan Infall, and he's made me a way better public land hunter and look at it from a different perspective. But he goes into every hunt with the mindset that I'm just not going out to hunt tonight. Like I'm going to kill my target buck tonight
mm-hmm.
in this exact spot at this exact time, calling a shot, and he kills him. And,
It
but he's
works.
having a mindset like that where you have to be in the game at all
Mm-hmm.
times. Otherwise, you're just half-assing it. And some people, if you enjoy just to get out and get out the hunt, and you have completely lowered expectations, like great, that's fine. I mean, but that's going to get you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you said, that's going to separate the dogs from the big dogs. Put
yeah.
it that way, where, yeah, you can do it. And there's no, if that's what gets you going and gets you up in the morning, or, whatever, then that be it. But, and that's what, hunting is such a physical, but also such a mental grind, because when you're on day 5 of a 7-day hunt and you're just like, looking for that sign that says bang head here. Yeah. And, that's where, and that's where I find not the most joy, probably. I think the most joy is just getting away from society, honestly, and just being able to be out in, God's country. And now, especially more, even doing that with my kids. But,
for sure.
Like that mental part, I think, is huge. And that's, I think what a lot of people need to, in this country nowadays, kind of push themselves a little harder, as far as, maybe it's not hunting, maybe it's just, sticking to a workout plan, etc. But, and that's what it is. But, for me, it's like, that's we've said it before, but, you get in a schedule, you get working out, you start feeling good, you're doing good, and for hunting, that's, you got to kind of have, like, cause like I wouldn't say religious about shooting my bow, like, in the off season, but I'm, pretty good about staying up with it. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't know about you, but, like, boy, when it's like not mid October, probably like late October, mid to mid November, I do not shoot my bow outside of hunting. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's just me, but, like, I don't know.
I always try to, like, if I know I'm gonna like hunt that day, I'm usually gonna try to sling 10, 15 arrows.
Yeah.
But, like, I get your point of, like, like I'm gonna get back into a good routine now that I got my compound. I've been shooting my trad bow, which is good, but I just haven't been shooting my compound just because it's been decommissioned until, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
But, in the summertime, you shoot 50, 100 arrows a night, just go out the back door and lob some arrows. And then, it's that slow trickle effect all the way through the season. And then it's hilarious because then you get, like, a couple of snow flickers, and then all of a sudden there's snow on the ground. It's like, I haven't shot my bow yet. Well, you probably should be shooting your bow, because it's a lot harder to shoot your bow when it's cold out wearing 10 different layers,
Oh, yeah. Yep. And that's something, actually, in the last couple of years I've gotten, I should say a lot better, but a lot is better, or a few times is better than zero. But, going out to the range, and putting on your top layer of what you're going to wear when it's colder than, out. But it makes a difference, because it's not a quick, easy, just whack. It's stretching out, and
side tangent with that story. It's funny. I was talking with the dad. So there's a shout out to Ryan with the Wilds Archery here in Brainerd Baxter. Put on with ABO Outfitters. We put on a pretty cool youth archery day and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny, I think, because we were talking with Blake about that, I think, at the bow shop the other day too. But it just must be enrooted in our DNA as men that we have to try to pull back as much weight as physically possible on a bow. Because even, like, these kids, they're ranging from, like, 6 to, like, 15. Each one of them's like, oh yeah, just a couple more. Like, they want to have that bow as hard as it possibly is to draw back. And I just, like, makes me laugh, because I just think of, like, the guys that are shooting 70, 80 pounds, all that. And then, like, I shoot 70 pounds. I'm not complaining. But, like, all right, well, it's December 31st, the last day of the season. It's negative 10 degrees outside. Can you draw your 70-pound bow without making a huge mess of a noise? So that's where it's just, I laugh at that we always try to shoot as much weight as we can, which is good. I mean, it's like, you want to be ethical, but.
Oh, for sure. No, absolutely. I'm all about I'll fall into that category, pulling back as much as I can.
Yeah.
But no, switching gears. What's, not switching gears, you're still talking deer hunting, but switching over here, it's like, let's say, it's all dependent, but what are you targeting, that first, because bow season opens mid September, usually around the 15th, 16th.
15th or 16th. Yeah.
And so, those first couple weeks, those last 2 weeks in November, or geez, I can't get my month straight. Those last couple weeks in September, where are you hunting? What, as far as not necessarily stands, but you know what I mean? Like, what are you looking for, targeting?
I've come to like early season more and more as time has gone on from a private land perspective, not
Sure.
necessarily public. Little different. I mean, if we were out in South Dakota chasing velvet muleys, that'd be totally different. But talking
Mm-hmm.
whitetails here, I cold fronts, man. I would rather skip opening day and go sit October 25th, knowing that it is going to be 60 degrees out, or even like 50, probably by then, maybe like 50 degrees. And we're going to have a 30-degree temperature change. Because like
Mm.
Sturgis talks about that all the time too. Like he might look like what the actual is, and then what the low is going to be, and then like everything in between. Where for what the average time high, if it was supposed to be 70 degrees and you get a 50-degree day, well, that's like a 30-degree temperature swing of what the actual is supposed to be for that
Mm-hmm.
day. It's
Right.
like the day were going to move. I mean, that was like when I came home on, I think it was Thursday or Friday night. I was like freaking out. I was like, it feels like fall. It was so cool outside. Of
Oh, it's
course,
perfect.
me and Nora went out for a drive, and I think we saw 27 deer in a matter of like 8 minutes just
Oh
driving
yeah.
around the section.
Yep.
So for me, stand two, it's a hard one. I would say probably somewhere on a bean field edge,
Mm-hmm.
cold temperature front, maybe like mock scrape type setup, but I mean that's too early for that. But yeah, probably just like on a bean field edge somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to
Inside
say
corner or
what's
something.
something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. That's what we were talking about earlier. I mean, I just feel like the last 3 years of doing food plots and really like analyzing the data points from trail camera pictures that we have, like there is a golden window between like September 20th and September 28th, where we
Yep.
had, in 3 years of photos, it was like we had 4 or 5 of our shooters in daylight multiple times on multiple different stand sites during those cold fronts in September. And it's like, what are they doing? Usually you get that little bit of first bump of pressure, and the deer will, they have the October lull that they're going into where they just disappear.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's probably it. Me. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd have a hard time passing up opener because it's kind of like, I feel like
True.
it's like this.
Yeah, that's my
I would,
birthday.
yeah, oh, that too. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say it's like the Super Bowl because it's way cooler than that. But, it's like, it's almost like you get to be a kid again on Christmas, right? Because,
True.
like you're
Yeah.
hanging out, whether it's in, your
Well, it's like deer.
guys'
It's like deer camp.
yeah, yep, exactly. It's the early season deer camp, and then you get another one, in November. But yeah, for me, like that's where it's tough. It's like I just love getting out there on opener, even if sometimes
Yeah.
but like there's something to that too, because it's like even if you want to get out, just go sit in this, one of those crappy stands that you're not like waiting to hunt and for prime
Yeah.
time in November, late October, but just to get out there. But for me, same thing. Probably like an inside corner of a bean field. We got a lot of beans around your farm and
Mhm.
and my spot, so targeting that, and that helps too, especially just when you're glassing for doing some preseason scouting to kind of know
Oh, for
what's been
sure.
moving around. But if it's depends, sometimes Minnesota throws us a curveball like it likes to as far as weather. But if you get a good cold drop, and that can obviously affect deer. But it's probably a little early for an acorn drop. But
Well, not for white oaks. I mean,
yeah. So
there's
if it's that last weekend in September, maybe pushing in on the woods a little bit,
yeah,
and if you could kind of time it where there's a
dude. I
drop,
tell
an
you,
acorn
the
drop, and
the
a
white
cold front.
that's a good move. Like you get a good, and I don't know what it is about our area. It seems like it's like a 3-year cycle. Maybe that is it's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing for like apple trees and stuff too. It seems like, but like for whatever reason, if we get a big acorn bumper crop, not for just because like I feel like we get it's like that every year for the red oaks, but for like the
Mm-hmm.
big, I know we probably got like I don't know 30 or 40 on the farm that are like giant mass producing white oaks,
Yep.
and but it's like every 3 years. But it's like if once we have those years though, like they are crushing acorns. You can hear them eating. I'll never forget the first time hearing a deer eating an acorn and like actually being hear like the audible sound. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
what in the hell is that? It almost sounds like it was like a pig, like just with its snout just gurgling,
Yeah.
like eating it. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'd turn like this, go, being stupid. I move really fast, and the doe shoots her head up at me like this. I'm like, oh, there's a deer right there.
Those are those best moments where you're not paying attention. All of a sudden, you're like, "Oh my god, there's a deer right there!"
It
It
just
scares you.
scared me. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Well, what's so two things. Pick a stand on the farm, and I know nobody else knows the names of our stands,
yeah.
but pick a stand, and then what's your stance on opening day killing does? Like, do you feel like that? Is that a viable time to go whack a doe and not destroy the woods for the rest of the fall?
1,000%. On the doe part, I think
Okay.
I guess I'd rather kill a doe early than middle of the rut. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'm with you 100%. Early
Yeah.
and late season, I think that's the
Yep.
best time
Yeah.
to.
Good cold December day. Yeah, I'm smacking a doe for sure. Otherwise, yeah, there's like that window. It's probably September, 2 weeks where I'd probably smack a doe, and then maybe I don't know. Depends how low my freezer gets. To be honest, that's usually the ticket. And this year it'll be low, so I'll probably be desperate and smack a
Well,
doe.
I'll be curious to see what they come out for the regs this year for Minnesota. If it'll be back to what it was last year for a 3D limit for the CWD zone. I don't know.
I don't know. It's always
It's
interesting
always
what
a
they
crapshoot.
decide to do with this area. But no, going back to the stand, I mean, there's so many dependents. I'm guessing some sort of westerly wind if it's going to be hot. Ah, boy, oh boy. There's that big. I don't know. I don't really want to blow up the woods. We talked about this before, and honestly, like you said, like the deer shack's tough for bow hunting because it's just not. It's a good gun stand. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And this is cheating. This isn't really answering your exact question. But if I could like hang a stand,
Well, you can.
Well, I could, but you know what I mean, like in that general area, or even a little more east towards the creek,
Sure.
and that line of trees that goes north.
Oh yeah,
kind of that corner there. I just especially with
That's
whole field there being beans this year, and
where I shot my first deer. Right there.
It's a good spot. So and you got bedding right back in there too. So if you can,
for sure.
But with a west wind, that's probably a terrible idea because I would be blowing my scent right into bedding. But somewhere in that area, that'd be
west wind would be an
southwest would be perfect.
Wind.
Yeah,
killer wind.
Well, it is gonna be. Hopefully, there you go.
Get up
if it's southwest wind, I'm throwing. That's right. I'll throw my saddle on and
you go climb one of those cottonwoods. That's what 12 feet around. Good luck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I need a big enough strap to get around that thing. I'll never forget
being out in God, what town is that in South Dakota? We were at western South Dakota, west of Buffalo. Oh man, that's gonna really bother me. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyways, we get out there. We got a lease that we have out there. We're bow hunting, and I'm carrying. I forgot my lone wolf like a dumbass, and I've got the assault too.
Camp Crook.
Camp Crook. There you go. Thank you. I feel bad. Everybody in that town's amazing, awesome place. But anyways, I forgot my lone wolf on that trip because I really did not think we would be doing any type of tree stand hunting. And we get out there. I borrowed, and nothing against XOPs. They're just a lot clunkier than like a lone wolf, just like some of the old school ones. So I'm carrying these huge sticks, this huge stand. It's like 65 pounds. Get to one of these trees after like doing like a mile and a half walking in the morning. Get to this because everything. This is our first morning. We're looking at trees that on a map you don't know what they are. Well, I looked at about 10 different cottonwoods and could not. I was taking putting two straps around each other, trying to get around the tree, and by the time I got up in a tree, it's like 8:45. Any deer that was probably, I think I had 2 or 3 dogs that were coming by me while I'm like mid tree trying to get this tree stand up. And then after that, I was like, I don't think I hunted out of a tree stand the rest of the trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Like
the massive trees
hard.
It's I've done I mean, who hasn't, but I mean done that I did that last year. I was monkeying around with getting up in the saddle, and it was one of those hunts where like you want to get in earlier so it's still hot, but then by the time it cools off, you want a few more layers. So I started just walking out like in my base layer, and and so I'm not sweating to walk in and then
Mm-hmm.
freezing at night. But so I was walking in, I'm literally in my muck boots rolled down, base layers, like doing my last strap, and I'm like kind of like straddling or like had my back up against a tree and foot on a branch and like tightening it down. And I look down and there's just a doe staring at me. I'm like, I was like, well, hi, how are you doing? Because it's like, Bo is, this is
Oh
just
yeah.
typical me. Bo's down by my feet. I'm like, well, this ain't happening. Then as soon as I moved, she was gone. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Gotta
fun.
love those moments.
Yeah, yeah. We could probably do a whole episode on like America's funniest home
Oopsies.
videos, but like just yeah, oopsie reel. But it's good. No, that's no, it's good. I
That's a
mean,
good
like,
spot, man. I
yeah.
mean, that's a spot we could talk about, you know, putting a stand definitely there. I mean, that's where the first double buddy ever was on the farm.
Oh, there you go.
Was right
Might have
there.
to
I
then.
shot my first buck with a bow out of that stand with Jake Seamers. Shout out Jake.
Heck yeah.
I'll never forget that morning. This is kind of a fun one because we're just telling stories, so I like this. But that morning, I think I was 12. That was the legal age back in the day when you could legally go out and hunt without. Maybe it's the same still now without an adult. So I just like me and
Oh.
Jake just went through and got our back when kids had to go through firearms training and stuff. So I just got our permits and super. This I want to say it was opener. So like my birthday is on September 16th. So it's like right usually opener. It's like a day or two before or
Mm-hmm.
after, and I'm pretty sure it was my birthday. We went up for an evening sit. It was like about like a 7 foot high double buddy stand. Nothing crazy. How it works out. Looking to my left, it's a bean field. Working to my right was another fallow field, which is now a bean field. And then we had a super long, skinny row of trees. No rangefinders back then because we're like
Mm-hmm.
12. I don't know. I mean, to me, where this doe came in, or excuse me, where this buck came in, I would have guessed it was maybe 25 yards. Later, ended up finding out it was about 47 yards. So,
Mm.
pretty funny. I got Jake. There wasn't room on the how we had all of our packs and stuff. There wasn't room on the seat for him to sit down, so he sat on the top of the stand, like crouching over top of me, like a bird just sitting there. And I'll never. This is Jake's like one of his first times hunting, I think, honestly. And it was hilarious because he's just sitting. He's like, "Oh, shoot him, shoot him!" He's all pumped up and jacked up, and I can't believe I shot, but I did, and I hit this thing. I thought I missed, and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up hitting this thing right in the jugular. And we literally watched this deer run about 70 yards and just die right in the ditch. But we didn't know it was dead. We just saw it run in there and never came out. So we're like, I think Jake's freaking out, yelling, hooting and hollering. I'm like, yeah, I hit it. I don't know what happens now. You saw the arrow stick out of it. It's sticking out like this far, only went in about 6 inches, but we don't know up from down or anything because, the
Right.
old man didn't really bow hunt too hard at that time. And, yeah, we went down, looked for that deer. There was blood everywhere. Couldn't find the deer. Hey, went back, got my dad, came back, looked around again, couldn't find the deer. We walked by it about, I don't know, 15 times. It was just laying there in the ditch with its head down so that you couldn't see any blood. But yeah,
Mm.
hit it um right in the jugular. Didn't go anywhere. Awesome moment. Jake was, yeah, ever since then Jake's been hooked on it. So glad I didn't
Oh yeah.
scare him off.
Yeah. That's a doozy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. But what else? I mean, we got trail cameras out now, and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, they're rocking and rolling now.
yep, got some little guys running around. Nothing
Some
big quite
goofy
yet,
ones.
but yeah. There's one that's got all of
Got a weird.
5 on one side and like one maybe 2 on the other.
Yeah, there's. I don't know, and I don't know how that works. We'd have to get like a biologist on here, or
Mm-hmm.
it, I don't know if like sometimes for like yearlings or 2 year olds, I shouldn't say year and a halflings or 2.5 year olds, like it like skips a generation for how that works. Is it's just amazing to think like a booner started
Mm-hmm.
out probably as a dinky little 8 pointer or like
Oh,
a
right.
7 pointer. So it's like,
Yep.
how do you know which one's going to be which? I will say though, I have in all the years of being out there, and I'll never know what ever happened to the deer, but we had one deer 3 years ago, had to have been 2.5 years old, and he almost looked like one of those cactus bucks. You know what a
Mm.
cactus buck is?
Yep.
Yeah, and he had, I don't know, 7 points in a little burr right here, and like they were like decent sized tines, like they're maybe like 5 or 6 inches, and he had the same exact thing on his right side, but with a little bit more like main beam palmation kind of going on. And I was like,
Gotcha.
that is going to be a 200-inch deer, and never saw the thing again. And knowing our neighborhood, it probably got shot. So
yeah. It's
hard to,
tough when those are the toughest bucks on camera to get, and that
yeah.
is where you see him on there once, and then you are like, oh my gosh, I gotta try and figure out everything he was doing before, after, and during, and
But
then you never get another picture.
oh,
He's
for
just
sure.
gone.
What you think though too, and like, and that's where it's like, some of the stuff I comprehend and listen, to guys talking stuff is you got to think like that deer from 2.5 to 3.5, like he's getting smarter every year. He's
Oh yeah.
learning the property and learning human intrusion and danger every year, and he's just, and that's where it's like you talk about levels with hunters, and well, if you train yourself to go and kill 3.5 year olds, probably going to be really good at killing 3.5 year olds, but you probably suck at killing a 4.5 and 5.5 year old deer because those are completely different deer, from a what they need to survive type of perspective level. And that's where, I think that's the gradual transition for bow hunters like this, or just hunters in general, I guess, where you kind of got to earn your stripes.
Oh yeah.
I don't think a lot of people go out there. You might get lucky, but I don't see first timers going out there whacking 180s consistently every year, unless you're living in like fantasy land states. But that's where I've got huge shout out to Zach Felton. Like, fun to watch his journey progression of he whacked a ton of 130 inchers, then he start whacking 140s. And I can tell you what, now that he's living down in Rushford, he's going to start whacking 150s and 160s like every year. But yeah, that was kind of, it was a very diluted answer.
No, it's fun. I mean, that's what's so fun about this time of the year, is just getting everything kind of ready. I mean, it's getting to be the end of
Yeah.
July here, and August seems to always fly right by. And I know we
What
both
is it?
have
2 weeks? Yeah.
not even a week and a half. So I mean, it's we got crazy August coming up, and then it'll be here.
What are your goals, man? I think that's one thing. I think hunters, that are trying to be better, need to be better at, just like anything in life. I think you got to have goals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are some of your goals this fall? Because you've got a lot on your bucket list this year. So
Yeah. I mean, for back home is just shoot a decent buck, I guess. There's we have what, 2 or 3 for sure shooters running around that area. So I mean,
yeah,
getting
I'd say there's probably for sure 2 or 3 at the farm,
mm-hmm.
and then there's probably like 3 to 5 at Grove Dolls, probably.
Yeah.
So maybe like 8 total.
Yeah. I mean, just I think big thing for me is just continually to learn. Always is putting myself, when it all comes together and you are able to have a successful hunt, then it's all just kind of that cherry on top, because it's all the other stuff you put into the the ice cream bowl, because it's all the work, it's all the scouting,
Yeah.
it's all the, okay, I'm trying to read weather here and what's the pressure doing, and like you talked about temperature drops, and when you're able to like put all that together and you walk out of the woods with a deer over your shoulder, that's just the icing on the cake, because
Oh, for sure.
so I mean, for me, it's just that, I guess, putting myself in the best spot to have the greatest opportunity to have a good hunt. But I think that'd be a goal for back home. Another one would just be, I think it'd be fun to just shoot a doe with Liam. So he's been out a few times. That's probably number one, to be honest, because I don't get me wrong, I love to shoot a giant buck all year, but that's not what it's all about for me, I guess. And that's kind of a sissy answer maybe, but no, seriously, like just getting out with Liam and just getting it, he's each year goes out a few more times. So, and he loves it. So it'd be cool to shoot. I shouldn't say a doe, shoot just a deer, because definitely not going to pass a nice buck that walked by. But, and then
just wait till you get the dad, there's a 7-pointer in front of you. It's like, dad, come on, Dad.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to explain to him. Yeah, anything with a horn. I mean, it could be a fork buck, and he'd probably still be like,
huge,
he's huge. Yeah,
huge.
Yeah. You gotta love the
I'm
mind of a 4-year-old.
I'm excited for those days.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. South Dakota, I would just say kind of the same thing. Obviously, I'm gonna be rolling with a rifle this year, so a little bit different, and I don't know. I'm planning on going out on opener, and I'm just, gonna hunt until I'm kind of successful, I think. So
I think that's a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's not too long.
It's might have a move there.
Yeah. I gotta clear that one with the wifey first. No. I mean, shout out to Jen. She's awesome. She supports me in all this stuff and all these crazy hunts and stuff. Yeah. But
shout out to our wives.
Yeah, but so that just in my head means, I got X amount of days, whatever that turns out to be. As long as I could go, there's going to be no farting around. Would you
rather know that number? Like if you could just push a button and, with all circumstances going into what, because like that's kind of sometimes the allure of like the fall, but it's just like, might be a Sunday morning after church. You're like, I'm gonna go bow hunting now, or whatever. But I was gonna say, like, if you could figure out the number, if like all circumstances put into it, saying, all right, you are gonna get 12 days to hunt this fall, and that is it from opener until December. Would you rather go into the season not knowing how many days you're gonna get to hunt, or knowing exactly and then being able to plan obviously for those days?
Do you want to know when you're gonna die?
it's kind of like the same thing.
No, I wouldn't want to know. Heck no, man. I'd either be too anxious and burn up some useless days right off the kick, or
I think that's a hard one. I was thinking in my head,
selfish and hold on to them for like,
yeah.
Sorry, honey, I'm going to be gone for 12 days in a row now, because that's probably what I would do if I had to. But no, I wouldn't want to know. I think that's the fun of it. Is like you said, you don't know when that buck's gonna walk by, or that
cold front's gonna come through, all that
stuff. For sure. And so that's the fun of it too, is just you don't know. And that's kind of like I joked about, do you want to know when you're gonna die? It's a little more, that's a little more probably morbid or whatever, but it's the truth. That's what makes hunting so much fun. That's what makes life so much fun, is those unexpected, the unknown, right? Having the trust in God that, everything's going to come together for a reason. And someday when we're sitting on a porch in heaven laughing about it, we'll know why. But no, it's so true. Cause it's like, there's so many days where you're just having a crap day, and this goes hand in hand with a lot of things, but especially for me with bow hunting, it's so quiet. And I think that's where it's like, I saw a reel today, and I'd like to shout it out, whoever made it, but I don't remember. And it was like, this dude was just shooting bow, and it was like how I feel how guys feel when they go bow, when they just go shoot their bow or go hunting or whatever. And it's like the background is just like, it sounds like you're in like I don't know, cafeteria. Cafeteria.
Oh,
like a bunch of people just talking.
Yeah.
Like you can't really hear any of what they're saying, but just tons of people. And then as you're pulling back, it's like just silence out. That's for me, I think is where it's like I just did
that's a sick idea.
Huh. Yeah, and it's like I did the 3D shoot in Rochester on Saturday morning, and that was like just one of those days you're just having a day, and you get out there, and it was just me, so I got out. I was in and out of there probably in an hour, but it was good. It was a good tune up before this coming weekend. Nice. So yeah, but no, it was just like I got 2 or 3 targets in, and I was just like walking through the wood. I was just like kind of you just feel like a kid again, just kind of having fun and relaxing, not thinking about all the other crap going on, and yeah, so
that's good.
Yeah, those are. I think that's my, and then
it's a pretty solid set.
Yeah, 20, and then for this is like an 8-hour answer, but I owe you for that 2 hours in a bow shop.
You talk. No, I'm just kidding. You talked the whole podcast. It's okay.
No, it's good. I'll wrap her up here, but it and then just for birds, just hunting as much as I can with Rogan.
Yeah.
Getting Liam out with him, and so yeah, that's those. Good. Bow hunting and hunting behind Rogan is kind of my therapy in the fall. So
that's good, man. Yeah, those are good goals.
What's your goals?
3 booners. Pretty.
Oh boy,
pretty easy this year.
That's yeah.
No, I think, man, you had a lot of good ones. And that's something that I'm just kind of starting to, because like you go into every fall, it's like, yeah, I want to shoot a giant buck. Who doesn't? Like that's not a goal. I mean, it is a goal, but it's not a goal because it's like you got to set obtainable goals and then big goals. Like, everybody would love to shoot a booner every year. Will it happen in your area? Maybe not. But for me, I kind of kicking off you a little bit. I really want to get Nora out in the woods a lot. And she's at an age now where we walk through Fleet Farm, or if I'm working in the boat or whatever it is, it's Dad, can we go hunting? Dad, can we go fishing? And she might not understand fully that context yet, but like as we start to actually hunt more and fish more together, I don't care if we don't catch any fish or if she scares every damn deer away. I just wanted to get out there and enjoy it. And so I'm excited to take her hunting. I don't know if I'm it's a hard one. It'd be like a moment of truth. I don't know if I'd want to shoot a deer from her yet. I don't know if we're quite there yet. We're already she's seen quite a few dead deer and she's cool with that. She gets it. She's like, yep, we're going to eat them. And I'm like, yep. And she thinks it's awesome. I just don't know how she would do seeing one get. That might be a little too early. Maybe it's like a 6 or 7 thing. We'll see with her. But maybe if it was a boy, if she was a boy, maybe it'd be different. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm going to tread on that one lately. But definitely going to get her out hunting because she's been begging me. And she's been watching me shoot my bow now. And she wants a bow. So probably going to get her bow for her birthday. I mean, I don't know. 3 is pretty. I think that's old enough for a bow.
Yeah. So get him going. Come on,
get him going.
Yeah.
But
what happens if a booner walks out?
Oh man, if I had 100 and for us, for our area, like if you've got a mature 140-inch deer, 135, I mean, like there's a occasional booner that'll show up. I mean, it's been few and far between. Like, come on, like especially like opening weekend, or even like I mean, I'd have a hard time not whacking one with the days that I get now to hunt. It's like, man, I'd have to have 180-inch run around the farm for me not to whack 140-inch with a bow.
Oh, 1,000.
So it's just like
1,000%.
Like that would happen. I would, Nora could. She'd get a pretty cool story to see.
There you go. You're gonna learn today.
Yep.
No,
but,
gosh, that's
I don't
awesome.
think I could whack a little one though. I'll just never forget like doing that to my dad. Like my dad had. I'll never forget that hunt. We had what was early season. Bow hunting. We're sitting in a tree stand that he just made himself. This is out in the church field, kind of where the old bridge used to be. Remember that? in the
Yes.
church,
Is that?
crossing back and forth between the creek to like the house and there.
Yeah. Okay. That
Yeah.
one. Yep.
So he built an old wooden stand there, and that night we had 7 does, 7 mature does that walked by. My dad's like standing up holding his bow ready. I'm sitting there watching this whole entire thing. It was weird because there wasn't any young ones. It was like 7 mature does all walked by. This is just maybe lack of like, it's my dad not knowing. It's like probably September 20th. It's nothing no later than that, and he's waiting for a buck to be like trailing these does, which could make sense. Early season, maybe they're just like going out to feed the beans or whatever it was, and he didn't shoot a single one of them. And I'm just the whole time going, Dad, shoot, shoot, shoot one, Dad.
Yeah.
Just like the first thing that I saw, just screaming the shoot, he never shot one. But it's just like I can't wait for Nora to do the same thing, or same thing with you and Liam, where you're gonna have that 6-pointer walk by, and it's like, God, yeah, sorry, man.
Sorry, bud. Not yet. Yeah. Right.
But no, back to goals. Take her out hunting a lot.
Yep.
I want to, from typical, I want to kill a nice buck on the farm. I have yet to whack one with a bow on the farm. Oh, it's been a while. It's been like 5 years, I think, since the last time I've shot one with a bow. But I've also gone through that phase where it's hard of, back in my younger years, I probably passed on a lot of deer I shouldn't have passed on.
Yeah.
And you got to pass on 120s to shoot 140 someday. And like, so I've been playing that game of where, if I get a 3.5-year-old to walk by me that I know is going to be 145-inch, 150-inch deer the next year, like I feel good about that, because it's like I could have killed you, but I didn't, because you're going to be bigger next year. But no, I want to try to kill like a Pope and Young with my bow this year. And then South Dakota, I want to kill a big one. I mean, like I'm setting my standards for like a minimum of like 160-inch out there this year. At the same, I mean, like I'm seeing them, have the stocks on them. I mean, now that I got a ball that I can finally probably shoot straight, I mean, maybe I'll make that happen. But yeah, I want to kill either. It's hard to say. I wouldn't mind killing. I mean, if a 145-inch whitetail walked out by me in South Dakota, I'd have an extremely hard time not like filling my tag.
Well, I'm slinging arrows at that.
Yeah, 1,000%. But another one is I want to kill at least 1 or 2 does with my trad bow. That's probably like one of my biggest goals this year, because like it's so hard for me, because it's like we'll get like the opening weekend, like we're like last year we shot, how many does we shoot? We shot like 3, I think, for opening week. Or no, what was it, opening weekend? Or was the week after? Because we did
Doe Fest opening weekend.
Yeah, I think we got like 2 or 3, whatever it was.
Yep.
And got one with the trad bow, I think. But yeah, I just want to keep like, that's like for me, that's like turkey hunting with my recurve. It's like a different challenge, and it kind of makes like that weekend kind of fun. We're out there to shoot, just get some does on the ground. Like, we have a ton of them on the farm, but yeah, probably kill 2 does with my recurve. I mean, if I kill a buck, that'd be sweet. I would probably shoot a 3.5-year-old with my recurve. One came in. I would let it eat with that.
No,
that's probably it. I mean, like the only other goal would probably be to, just kind of being like the land manager of the farm. Like I would love to see us kill 2 studs off the farm this year. I think the farm's finally at a point, and where we're at with our section, with all of our neighbors kind of be on the same program of trying to grow some bigger deer, doing some habitat
that
work.
Helps a ton.
Everybody, for sure, and everybody doing food plots. Like it's been fun to see these 3.5-year-olds get to 4.5, and these 4.5-year-olds get to 5.5, and so on and so forth. It's teamwork kind of makes the dream work. But yeah, I think it could just be sweet to see 2 people, either out of our party, out of our section, since we're all pretty close and tight knit now, to kill 2 studs this year. I think would be sweet to see it. And that's probably it. I mean, and it's a short season, sadly.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd say it's mid-September through December, but it goes quick, just like summer, and before you know it. No, That's good stuff,
Well,
man.
that's good. And so just changing topics here quick, and we'll wrap it up here in a little bit. But I want to know, and maybe you haven't had time, but maybe you have had time in a little bit further detail of what your strategy is going to be. From kind of like start to finish, going into your South Dakota hunt with a rifle. Being since it's just your first time.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's going to be a combination of trying to figure out what I know a little bit about to be dangerous, from whitetail hunting, but just I had Onyx up before this. I had something random on the TV and it was just kind of pinging spots. But I'm doing the same thing I'm doing if I was hunting public land whitetails. I'm looking for saddles. I'm looking for ridges for travel and to and from. Looking like okay, that if there's they're probably going to come. If I'm trying to say here, it's cropland, like just trying to like explain the spot, but if there's an egg up top and then there's like a 2 or 3 fingers dumping down below and there's water in between, and it's like, okay, for especially opening morning, I'm proud, initially.
What time frame did we go out there when you were out there the first time? Halloween, that first week of November?
First week of November, I think, or maybe a little bit into.
Okay.
No, it was early October. What am I talking about? It was like October 10th.
Oh, that's right. It was.
Or so, 12th, somewhere in there.
So, I'm excited for you, man, because, we've bow hunted all the way up, splitting the openers and stuff for gun, because I think it's West River opens up, then East River opens up. But they're right in the rut, dude. Like, they're out there. And, man, when they are running, it is wild. It's fun to see. Are you, I guess more detail with that though. Like, are you going? Like, are you planning on going in light? Like, nothing in the pack, and you're just gonna run and gun, get back in the truck, drive around, or like, are you planning on packing in heavy?
I'm setting up a base camp.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of a catch-22. If I drove around, there's not like in this. I guess nobody knows what unit I'm in, but just trying not to give a ton of detail. But as far as like driving around, there's some public land, but it's still not like super close either. Mm-hmm. So like, but the section
that's the funny thing out there.
It's like on the map, you're like, I can just drive over that. There. It's like
2 hours later,
2 hours away. Great. But no, like this, the spot I'm looking at is somewhere in that few thousand, square mile thing. So, or acres, sorry, square, acres, but square miles. Yeah. But, so, just like I said, going, with that opening morning, I'll probably, I don't necessarily want to.
What are your standards? What do you, 130-inch walks out in front of you, whitetail or Bealy, are you whacking it or are you waiting to go?
I'd probably leave it on the first day or two, because I'm probably looking at, I would guess probably at least setting a week aside.
Sure.
So day one, it'd be pretty tough to smack, but I might be kicking myself on day 7 if I'm still out there and that was it. But, so it's always tough. I think part of it too is like, this is probably kind of weird maybe, but like in the moment, whether or not before that
you kind of get that feeling.
Yeah. And actually, there's been, like you said, lots of deer where you've pulled back on and you're like, no. And it's like, that's not necessarily being like picky and snooty, but it's more about like, I know that there's other things going on out here. I know kind of where, what I want, but yeah. So, I think opening morning, I'm going to probably try and, I can't, it's tough. I want to get set up or walk in the dark, but I also want to blow out, something, which I guess I would never know what it was, but if I do blow something out, every time you spook a deer in the dark, you're like, oh, there goes the 200-incher.
Yeah.
I'll probably try and like set up somewhere between, up on top of the ridge, where I can get a good eye line of one of their deeper, not deeper, but one of the longer cuts from that egg field and see what's working back down into that, in the
Nice.
morning and probably do this, do some day movement and just see if I can't glass them up. But then in the evening, probably
Well, I'm sure it'll
that
be
same strategy.
TBD on what the weather's going to be like.
Well, yeah, if it's freaking, it's
That's the
or
wild thing about
November
out there, man.
16th
It could be 90 degrees or it could be literally -10 with
and a
like
blizzard.
30-mile-an-hour winds and snow.
Yeah, so opener's the 16th of November, so I'll be.
Yeah, I'll still never forget the first year. First year we ever did that trip. It was we drove. It was me, uh, Zach, and my buddy Jordan Wolf, and we were listening to kind of like this year. We were listening to the election kickoff. Actually, no, that was our second year because that's when I shot my deer. But listen to the election kickoff. I listened to the whole entire thing pretty much until we got to our spot. From where we were at from the farm, it was I think like 8.5 hours, 9 hours maybe. I can't remember. And we woke up from the truck or didn't even wake up. We just literally put our stuff on and went out and started hunting. But that morning, it was about 7 degrees and it was snowing and like sleeting and miserable. And this is our second year out there and like first experience like during this timeline. And then that afternoon proceeded to be about 78 degrees and just sunny and hot. We all had like super heavy gear on, didn't bring any light clothes. Like we're walking back with just like
just dripping wet
boxers on and your boots.
Gotta love it. Yeah, that there, for sure is that'll be a key piece on what and that's tough too, because if it the weather's all over the place, that just means you got to pack in all the much more. So we'll see if I decide to just kind of hunt it from the truck or go in and just dedicate myself to that spot for a week or so.
See what you see.
Yeah. No. So see what happens. It's going to be a complete trial by air, trial by fire, because obviously with a rifle, it's a little more forgiving just from a range standpoint, but.
Do you have any inklings to what you think you might use or shoot with?
I'm looking. I'm either gonna probably shoot. I'm gonna buy it here in the next week or two, but gosh, it's tough because I want something I can do a little bit of everything with. So I was kind of looking like, and that's where it's tough. I'm kind of thinking like a 30-06 maybe.
Okay.
Or, like a 7mm. Or if I really just want to have to blow out both shoulders, I'll just rock the 300 Win Mag and have no issues. So
it's just a cannon.
Yeah. But we'll see. It'll be one of probably those three, even the 30-06, 7mm, or the
a 270 Win is not a bad deer round.
No, but I want something that I like if I want to go bomb out to like Montana and do some bear hunting or something, it's going to do that too.
Yeah.
And then there's the 6.5. Everybody either call it the 6.5 Creedmoor or the 6.5 Needmore. So I'm not that into, all the shooting stuff.
This is like a whole new realm for both you and I. I mean,
rifle hunting? Yeah.
I moved up to rifle country. We're Southlanders that, we got to use shotguns, and then the DNR was nice enough to say, hey, you guys can use muzzleloaders now. And then, for like 5 years, we could only use muzzleloaders without any scopes. And then finally they're like, oh, I guess you can use a scope now.
Yeah, welcome to the 21st century.
Thanks. It's like they've been around for 35 years. But we never rifle hunted, outside of like, unless you were like one of those people that, shot coyotes and stuff. It was like, you couldn't. So it's like, I've never hunted with a rifle before. Like I'm excited for you because like it's an experience I've never done. So
so it'll be fun. And like I said, get that going here and then, looking forward, flirting with some sort of maybe a spring bear hunt next year. We'll see. Nice. Never done it, so it's kind of fun.
Like spring bear, like black bear hunt out west.
Like a Montana or something like that. Yep.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but it'll be good, and boy, like you said,
before we know it.
Be here before we know it. It's a tried and true go-to saying, but it's the truth, and I can't wait. That's like I was saying this when we were talking about turkey hunting. It's like get excited and you start laying out all your gear and stuff and getting ready, and it's go time.
Oh yeah, I think it's always bittersweet, and that's where it's like, summer's kind of dwindling a little bit now. We still have a decent chunk of summer left, but it's like you try to savor those last minutes. But I feel like deep down though, I feel like it's like one of those things, like you could look at somebody and just get that feeling of that, like, yeah, that guy once, or like, just that feeling of where it's like, we're down this last 2 weeks, but it's time. It's time to be 20 feet up and be, be up in a tree stand.
Yep. 1,000%.
Yeah, this was a fun one, man. Like, we it's actually kind of nice having a couple BS sessions back to back, but kind of going forward, we're going to try to get back into a little bit more of a formal schedule. But this is kind of the nice thing for summer for Luke and I, that we're taking a little bit extra time for family and enjoying it. And as we get into the fall here, we'll do a little bit more of structured episodes with specific guests, kind of highlighting more unique things that we don't know about and we want to learn about. So, but
and the list is long.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good, and we'll be hopefully. What is it here? It's the 21st. We got a month and some change here, and we'll be hopefully doing like a deer camp, doe camp podcast.
Doe camp. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and see you next time.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith and the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.